Welcome back, Vintage Gamers, to a Wednesday night Vintage League. Many of you in the comments of the YouTube section have been clamoring for more Smelting Vat. So today, more Smelting Vat. I do read all the comments on my YouTube section. Thank you for everyone who is constructive or happy. And if you're not, well, you're probably not watching anymore, right? I have been trying to figure out how to make Smelting Vat more playable in Vintage. I think the power level of Smelting Vat is there. The thing that Smelting Vat really struggles from is that it has a very poor combo matchup, especially combo decks that are faster than you and pack Force of Wills. So things like Jewel Shops, things like Doomsday, these decks where you're not interacting with them and they are a faster combo deck, it really showcases the weakness of this kind of strategy. I think in general, the strength of the strategy is kind of its new, at this point, its robustness. I think the original version of Smelting Vat was not very robust. It was pretty fragile, but actually at this point, with the newest editions of like 4 Mightstone, I actually think the deck is quite a very strong grindy game plan, which is really, really nice. So what I wanted to do is find a way to allow us to play Force of Will to help us shore up the combo matchup. And now I don't think I need Force of Will at all times to beat all decks, because I actually think our matchup versus the decks that are not trying to crazy combo kill us is pretty good. But I want to be able to house Force of Wills in my sideboard to be able to bring them in to give us a chance, especially on the draw, against these faster combo decks. That being said, I have done that. We have fixed our mana base in a way where we can play islands. We're going to use Seagate Restoration as both additional islands, blue mana, and blue sources to pitch to Force of Will. And I think that when we board in, and we typically are boarding in most of these cards, we board in an additional 9 blue cards to go on to our 13, 19, 23 blue cards, giving us a pretty high Force of Will count and a very likely chance of being able to force a turn 1 play. I think the biggest innovation, I mean, obviously Thought Monitor is a very nice card with Smelting Vat. Being able to get some large things, especially things like the Mightstone and Mystic Forge and Smelting Vat, makes it quite an attractive Vat target. Obviously, hitting Citadel is the nut high. But it also makes having Citadel makes our Tinker better. And the one thing that I've actually changed a lot, or the biggest change in this deck in my mind, is this Tome. The Initiative Tome is quite good in our deck. I find that fixing blue mana, giving us additional grindy value with the Undercity and the Dungeon and the Initiative, being able to take back the Initiative from mono white, and the fact that this just makes a lot of mana. And also, the last ability has come up quite a lot, where you can gain card advantage by having completed a dungeon. So I actually think this Tome is one of the biggest changes in Vat since I last streamed it. We actually do a really cool thing sideboarding where, against mono white Initiative, I actually take out Vat. And I bring in Metamorphs and Forces, and I actually try to play an Initiative game where I'm killing their creatures with the Mightstone, and then actually am a better Initiative deck than they are, which is kind of fun. I definitely, I think there's some people who are trying the deck might not have the same sideboarding idea as me, and I do think the sideboarding is important, so we can check that out as we go along today. Not Me still wants a Seat of the Synod in this deck, which I do like, but I would never play a Seat of the Synod over a Seagate Restoration because I need the blue count, and I currently don't have, I would currently probably want an additional island before cutting an island, and I don't think Seat of the Synod is better than Ancient Tomb, Mishra's Workshop, or Tolarian Academy, and I think I'm already pretty maxed out on land. So I don't know where you would fit Seat of the Synod, and I also don't like how it interacts with No Rod, which is quite large in the format this time. So let's do it. If you'd like to see your deck played on this channel, check out the Patreon link in the description below, where you can find all the information you need to submit a donation deck list. Let's battle. Okay, here we go. Round 1 of our new Smelting Vat League. Turn 1 Tinker does not always cast Turn 1 Tinker. Sometimes they activate Bazaar, so they're a very tricky fella. Here I have a powerful mana hand into a Thought Monitor, probably worth a keep. Something that I was just telling chat, you actually can cast this card quite a lot. It's come up frequently, actually, which is a nice bonus as well. So sometimes you want to hold mana in your hand in case you could draw like a Seagate Restoration later in the game. I'm going to just open with Sapphire Restoration, Monolith, Opal, or sorry, Monolith, Lotus Key, and that will be 5. And then I want to see if I tap everything, if I can untap Sapphire and cast Thought Monitor without cracking Lotus. Much appreciated. Glad to have you. Yeah, today was a very bit of an odd work day, so I actually took a nap, and I'm a little late. Obviously, this plays into everything, but I just don't care. Don't think you're allowed to do much caring about that kind of stuff. All right, so this gives me, this will cost me 2, so I could go tap, untap this, and cast it without cracking my Lotus, which I do think I'm going to do. I guess this exposes me to Vigor kind of badly, but whatever. I don't think Bug is that big a deal. It's annoying. Oh, this is a nice one too. All right, Tome. I think they have a force. They just chose not to force, was my read. So sometimes I end up with like more lands than I want in this deck, but it's really hard to cut lands because you really do want to hit lands. So mostly in this deck, you don't go down the same initiative path as mono white. Mono white, you typically just forge trap, left side. In this deck, you typically go Lost Well, Stash, Catacombs. Also worth noting, your Throne of the Dead can only really hit 4 Thought Monitors, which is kind of low. Just to keep in mind, you're not guaranteed to hit a Thought Monitor, but sometimes you can hit a Thought Monitor. And post board, maybe you have 7 with Phyrexian Metamorphs. No, I mean, I don't think this deck is better than Jewel. I think this deck grinds better than Jewel. So there is an advantage to playing this deck over Jewel, but this deck is like a very much a weaker version of Jewel in terms of comboing. I mean, it's like, it's possible, like Jewel just gets forced and I lose, right? Whereas none of my cards got forced, I can play on. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, clearly it was powerful enough that my opponent didn't want to play any more Magic, so I mean, this is pretty solid too. I think this deck has advantages over Jewel. But I do think that Jewel is kind of the bar you need to hit for like a combo combo deck, a combo shops deck, and I think it's really hard to hit that bar. That deck is quite powerful. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hedge against Collector Oof, and I'm gonna bring in Chains. And I'm going to take out like 1 Smelting Vat and 1 Key of this kind. Cards that rely on activations if we're assuming our opponent is on bug, which I think is what we're going to try to do. If they do end up being on bug, it's possible we board into forces and we go, basically we would cut 3 Smelting Vats. We would maybe cut Karn. I like to cut like Tinker Citadel. I do some like crazy cuts to make us like kind of a grindy workshop deck. This hand has turn 1 Tome, which is good if my opponent doesn't have turn 1 Deathrite Shaman. I also am pretty... I would say liberal with the ability of the Tome playing. If my opponent is going to steal the initiative, I typically don't care too much. I don't want it to happen, right? Like I shouldn't be trying to have that happen. But I think there's like a lot of times where you just need to get this in play, even if it means your opponent takes the initiative from you. Yeah, like I said, I think there are upsides to this deck, and the bar that I'm trying to make this deck hit is I am trying to make the deck as good as Jewel Shops, which I think is like the bar you need to make this deck playable, right? Because currently Jewel Shops is extremely playable. I just had that muted, but it looks like Devin's going full time, which is dope. Congrats to Devin. All right, my opponent ended up keeping a 5-card hand. Let's see what they're on. Is it actually Bizarre? I would be pretty surprised if they conceded that game 1 if they were on Bizarre. Jewel Shops doesn't show up as Jewel Shops on MTG Goldfish right now. It shows up under Paradoxical Outcome, which is very annoying. But if you go to Paradoxical Outcome and you look at any list by like CFT Sock or like lists that are blue-black, I will link one in chat. And that is a Jewel Shops, a blue combo PO deck. It's basically more of like an all-in PO deck. Yeah, we need to do an algorithm update with the people over there. So my opponent had a very solid Saga start here, but I don't think that matters too much unless we just get tinkered. I could theoretically go Vat, but I think the Tomb is just super, super strong. The Tomb also like makes 2 mana, which is really nice. Not right here, right now, but this also fixes me for a basic for blue, which insulates me pretty well against some other things. So we'll have to see what our opponent decides to do. Obviously, like, we didn't get to see what deck our opponent was on, so we didn't get to bring in Force of Wills. If my opponent just tinkers us, I'll be pretty sad. I think I typically like to bring in Force of Wills against any deck that has Tinker. Oh, is it Mono White or is it Prison Shops? Okay, so if it's Null Rod, then the chains make sense. Okay, it's Mono White with Saga. God, I hate that. I hate Saga and Mono White. Maybe it made sense when you were playing Mirrors, but we should be in a really good spot in this game. We're gonna Mightstone this White Plume Adventure. Oh, I guess we can't take back the initiative right away, but we also have like infinite vats to use. Maybe I just leave the White Plume Adventure because I already lost the initiative. Oh, I guess I can't play Mightstone and Thought Monitor because I lost the initiative, so I don't have 2 mana on my tome anymore. I only have 3 artifacts in play. I think I'm gonna vat my Grim Monolith into like keys and stuff. Oh, that still is gonna be short on mana to like use for a Thought Monitor. Like, I don't think I need to kill this. I think I should save this for like an Archon or something that actually matters. I could technically play my Thought Monitor now and get the initiative back next turn, but the initiative doesn't matter that much here. I think I'm gonna go that and just hit the Monolith because it's not making me mana currently, and see if I can hit better, like a like a key and a 1-drop, or a Monolith and a Pearl. Perfect. That's the kind of stuff I was looking for. Obviously, I'm just gonna play this second Vat, I think, as well. Well, let's see. If I play the second Vat and they have a Archon, do I have the mana to cast it? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus Wasteland down to 4, up to 5. Yeah, this should be fine. I think I'm just going to play a Smelting Vat as well. Well, yeah, I mean, the initiative in this deck is just like scry, get a treasure token, make a 4/4. It's not huge, but like I think it's actually like the incremental advantage of it is strong, especially against these decks that don't, present very fast clocks. Obviously, this thing goes up to a 5/5, but I just don't know if I care. I'm like looking to win the game on this next turn. I would assume with 2 vat activations, a Mightstone, and a Tome. I would hope to win this game via infinite turns on this next turn. So I assume you're gonna make a construct here, right? It's gonna be a 4/4. Make a construct, get a mana source, play an Archon. I would hope they're not making a construct. What could that possibly mean? That means that it doesn't mean you have a 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, 7 mana. I guess they could have a 4-drop and a 3-drop they want to play. I guess they could hit me for 5, trap me to 10 down. I still think we're gonna win the game on the next turn, unless they have main deck Null Rod or something. Yeah, they play everything for sure. Excuse me. So what are we waiting on? My opponent they have a main deck Needle and a Lauren. Okay. Okay. That definitely hinders my plan here. They have a Lauren with Caracas and a main deck Needle. Wow. That is really rough for me. I could definitely see us losing this game now. This is basically the worst possible outcome that could have happened. Oh, yeah, you're right. This is game 2. I forgot about game 1. So they brought in a Needle, which makes sense, and they have a Lauren and Caracas, which should be in their main anyways, probably. So this okay. That all makes sense. You're right. I can't really beat a Needle on. Not beat. I don't really play through a Needle on Smelting Vat at all. That's just how it goes. I have to kill the White Plume Adventure and play a Thought Monitor. That's basically all we can do here. Unfortunately, they can bounce this Lauren if they want to. But I don't think I have the winning capabilities on this turn anymore. And I need to make sure I don't take an additional 5 damage. Those are not great. What's my blue count right now? Super low. I think I'm just going to play this tapped. And then I could play Mana Crypt and untap a Grim Monolith, but it doesn't seem like that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Trap putting me to 4. They are going to bounce the Lauren. Okay. So they're going to bounce the Lauren, replay the Lauren, kill the Thought Monitor. Put me to 4. Yeah, I'm in a huge disadvantage at this point. I understand why my opponent did what they did now. So against Mono White, this is the matchup where I actually take Smelting Vat completely out of my deck. We did bring in Chains, so we technically do have an answer to Needle. You're right. That is not gonna do it. Just gonna hold this Tomb in my hand. So we technically do have an answer, but this is not. Yeah, like I said, I typically board out all of my Smelting Vats against Mono White. That's kind of the downside of our opponent conceding on turn 1 in game 1. But you're right. I guess this is not technically over until the next draw step. Even if they proceed through the throne here, it doesn't really matter because my draw step just has to be a chain of vapor. I guess I technically could just draw Time Vault too. That is true. I don't really care about Chalice. You have like Karn for Chalice and other things. I don't think it matters. I think Chain is just the best one. You want 1 mana answers so you can play them off of just an island or just a Seagate. All right, well, they hit an Archon off of this, which definitely means... It doesn't actually mean a whole lot because Smelting Vat is pretty good against Archon. So Chain is still good, and Time Vault is good, and Tinker is good. And Thought Monitor is bad because of Archon. Actually, yeah, it's still going to be bad. Citadel Key. Okay, cool. So we're going to go to game 3. So, yeah, so we didn't sideboard in the way that I would like for this matchup because we didn't get to see it. What we're going to do is we're going to bring in Forces and Metamorphs, and we're going to take out Tinker, Citadel, and Vats. I'm going to leave in Karn on the play. I take out Top because I don't feel like you need the Top in this configuration. And I forget what the other card I was trimming in this configuration was. What the heck was the other card I was trimming? It must be a Monolith or a Key. Key's a lot worse without that. Trim a Key. All right. So this is my configuration I like when I'm playing against mono white. I basically try to avoid the Pithing Needle element of their deck and try to avoid like the multiple spell combo part of our deck and try to just grind with the initiative and then use Force of Will for like Null Rods and Might Stone their creatures and then just try to grind. Obviously, like turn 1 Karns are quite good still. But it's definitely a different style of gameplay. It's a very grindy. It's much less about comboing. But I think this is the way you play against mono white. This hand is no good. Manifold is better unless my opponent names Manifold Key on a needle. So I like to have 1 Voltaic Key still. This is turn 1 Tome and Metamorph, so we're gonna keep this one. I don't know if it'll be good enough. Obviously, this hand is like kind of a lower power level, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna just get rid of the key. I think I'm gonna want the island, and then this could also pitch to a force later, so we'll see what happens. I guess maybe the force might not happen because we will be so far behind yeah, the force is usually for turn 1 against mono white, but true. I get an island on Tome. So then I could probably gotten rid of an island and kept key. That's fair. I have a second island. I think it's also kind of reasonable to get 2 islands here, but maybe a little bit on the greedy side. That could be fair. Or like not great. I don't know if greedy is the word. Like maybe not necessary, maybe too conservative, the opposite of greedy. All right, I'm definitely gonna hold this Metamorph. Not that I can play it anyways, but let's get the initiative going here. We have a huge amount of mana. We've got good coverage against Wasteland. We have blue mana to play blue cards. Currently, I do think that the blue part of Metamorph is like one of the biggest parts of it. Let's say this is Null Rod. Okay, it's Null Rod. That's not a big deal though. We have triple island here. I'm okay with this Null Rod. Obviously, we're gonna scry away things that are Null Rotted. That's a good draw. I don't think I want to get like another tomb. I'm gonna hold both of these for now. Now we are a little weak to Wasteland, obviously. But that just lets us pass through the tomb some more. So yeah, like No Rod is one of the big reasons you do want Force of Will against Mono White. Ancient Tomb No Rod forcing this would put us in an extremely advantageous position. But obviously we didn't have a force in our hand, but we had already mulliganed to 6 on the play. I think our keep was fine. We have pretty good answers right now. And obviously the Lost Well scrying 2 dead cards away was very nice. Right, and if they waste, they can't play a threat. And we are still progressing towards Metamorph, so I might end up being sad I don't have a third island in my deck again if we progress all the way through this Undercity, but I guess the question is here, if they play a White Plume Adventure, are we copying White Plume Adventure, or are we like Might Stoning? I guess we would just be copying, stealing back the initiative. If they play like a Lauren, I guess if they play a Lauren, that's pretty bad for them, as I can then copy it and play a hit Null Rod. If they play a Lauren before they have a Caracas or something like that, that would be not very good. I guess they wouldn't really play a Lauren now that they have a Null Rod, but all right, here is basic Plains and White Plume Adventure. So they take back the initiative, they get another Plains, and then we take the initiative and get a treasure token. I'm gonna hold this opal in my hand. They should be on 4. If they're on less than 4, it's quite bad, I think. All right, so now they really kind of need an answer to this so they can get the initiative back this turn. If not, I get a Skelly Bro. And if they don't have a Wasteland, I do have Mightstone for their next threat. So they could, of course, Lauren this, which would be a kind of a blowout. Not much I can do about that. I definitely want to make it to Catacombs. I think making it to Catacombs is super important here. I don't have a lot of agency to making it to Catacombs, especially if they have like another initiative creature, but I don't think we've drawn horribly. Like drawing into a Mightstone has been good. Though we definitely have had some stronger hits than what we have drawn. But like I said, I don't know if I wouldn't say we're currently favored in this game, unfortunately. Like we didn't have the force for the Null Rod, and my opponent currently has 4 unknowns plus a Plains. Oh, they're just gonna snap attack here. All right, that's a good sign. That means we at least get a Skelly Bro if they don't play. I mean, I guess they could still play like another White Plume Adventure post combat, but we're just always blocking here, so not much to say about that. See if they have a second adventure creature, second dungeoner, second what is it, initiativer? Second party member would be the problem. If it's a non-party member, just hitting Skelly Bro plus Mightstone is basically going to be really, really strong for us. That's true. If they did have another one, they would have just forged onto it and attacked. That's a very fair point. So what do you think they have then? Think they have like an Archon or maybe a Lauren or something? Oh, Anointed Peacekeeper. Wow, I didn't know these decks were still playing that. Actually kind of good here against my Mightstone because it's going to cost 2 more mana. But we at least get a Skelly Bro. We do have like Workshop and Ancient Tomb draws. Yeah. Definitely a little bit on the annoying side. Unless I guess if they have a Wasteland follow-up here. Wow. Okay. At least we have a Catacombs. And I expect we're going to be able to go to the Throne, though I don't know if we'll be able to hit in the Throne. The Throne is like a pretty high variance here. The Throne has 6 hits in 50 cards. All right, our Mightstone is unlocked if we hit the mana for it. Whoa, they have their planes. They have a follow-up creature? Wow. I think they should have just done this last turn then if they had this. All right, I think we're going to lose this game. That's unfortunate. They had just enough action. I guess we can hit Chain of Vapor still. Thought Monitor is a good draw as well. Probably should have played out my Opal there so that it cost 1 less. Would have given me some draws. Okay. I mean, this is not bad. We have a chance. We haven't taken too much damage so far, though we are going to take another like 10 this turn. And unfortunately, this thing at a 5/6 is bigger than the Mightstone Weakstone, which is insane. It has the hugest butt. I don't know if we're currently going to win this race, to be honest. We'll have to see what happens. They have an Ancient Tomb on top. Well, we can't block, so. What a kind of a nightmare situation. We will probably be copying the critter if we can. Depends on what my opponent does. That is fine. We're probably going to attack, steal the initiative, see what we hit off of our Throne of the Dead first. Do they have a follow-up 3-drop? Imagine they just go Cavern Archon here. Okay, Spirit, sure. They just have a million Spirits. I kind of wish they had played Spirits instead of... Oh, uncounterable Kataki. What a life. Imagine not playing Cavern in this deck. Well, it certainly makes my life difficult. I think this like just went all of like the worst possible ways. Kataki is typically what I would say not a very good card unless there's a Null Rod in play, in which I think Kataki is a great card. I'm usually not a fan of Kataki in these like white weenie decks. I don't find them to be particularly strong. Oh man, I hit the Thought Monitor on my draw step, so I can't hit it off of this Throne. Not that I can actually draw cards with my Thought Monitor right now. I need to hit... I don't know. I hit another Thought Monitor, which is worse than a Metamorph because I can't draw cards right now. And I actually don't have the mana to play Metamorph because I didn't draw a land for turn, and I had to pay for that Metamorph. So I'm just dead, right? How much does this cost? 1 million? 5? I can play this. It costs... Yeah. I think this is just really rough, unfortunately. Our hand wasn't super strong, but I felt like we were in a good spot until... I guess the Strip Mine was like the biggest turning point in this game. If I pay for both of these, I technically put them to 1. I can't get into the... I can get into the dungeon if I hit a workshop, but the dungeon is not going to get me to forge, unfortunately. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I think, like I said, we were super close to winning this game. It was really, really close. We kind of needed opponent's play to be, like, slightly worse than it was against us. Even simply, the cavern not happening, where we could have forced the Kataki. Thank you. So if I pay for both of these creatures and I draw Tolarian Academy or Workshop, I think I can't do that. I would have to draw like Time Walk or something, but I can't cast Time Walk. I might just let one go and then try to draw Time Walk. All right, well, my opponent has another Wasteland. I had a plan. I had a plan. Yeah, that's a very unfortunate game. I mean, that's a very strong opinion on initiative. I think initiative's fine. I don't really have a problem with initiative. Okay, here we go. Round 2. I'm on the draw. I have kind of a bad hand. Let's just try again. Yeah, we're gonna keep this one and we're off to the races here. I think this is a put away top hand. Maybe not. Maybe it's a put away key hand. In case my ancestral gets countered. Oh boy. I'm gonna put away its key. Kind of a redundant card in my deck where it tops a singular thing. I don't know. In terms of power level, initiative is not too good for vintage or anything, so I don't really doesn't matter too much to me. All right. I don't know exactly how I want to sequence this because I don't know what my opponent is playing. I think what I'm gonna do is not play this ancestral on my turn. Unfortunately, this vat is just not great right now, but ugh. God, I don't really want any of that. I can vat away the top to clear this. Magic the Gathering game should end, chat. So I mean, what Ian said is exactly what they said about Urza Saga, and mid-range and control decks just adapted and everything was fine. So I don't know. I don't really agree. I think Jeskai is like super good against mono white, so I think the mid-range and control decks are fine. I'm not too worried. I actually think mono white is just like not a very strong deck, unfortunately, for mono white. I think it's just exploiting some metagame weaknesses. Deck's fine, but it's like okay. Solitude is fantastic. All right. So I unfortunately, I really don't really want to fight. I'm not that I can fight. I'm gonna try to win on my turn. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sacrifice. I'm gonna activate the top and sacrifice it to clear my top of my library here. So I don't draw those bad cards. And I'm gonna get a jet and a soul ring off of this. Actually, I'm gonna get a jet and a mana vault off of this. Is this the green one? Not really. In my opinion, the initiative cards that are not strong on their own, that are not rares and are powerful, are not good. And I've tried all of them that are on Magic Online, and I'm not convinced that that green one is good enough. All right. Well, I hope this ancestral resolves because it's all I really have going for me here. It did resolve. So now we can go Mana Vault for this tomb. And we're going to look to try to Vault Key combo here if possible. I guess I can get Mindbreak Trapped here on my key. So I think I'm going to play the key beforehand just in case. Yeah, I mean, I've read the card. I just, like, I don't think it fulfills, like, the same level of power as what I'm looking for here. I should definitely have used my workshop instead, but I wasn't really paying attention. See if this gets Mindbreak Trapped. I didn't really have like a different sequencing that would have worked for this, unfortunately. I think they almost assuredly have a Mindbreak Trap, but what am I gonna do? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to Smelting Vat my tome away and look for Time Vault. I found Grim Monolith Key, which is fine. It's at least a rebuy. Now I'm gonna go to Grim Monolith. I'm going to key my Smelting Vat. And then I'm going to Smelting Vat my Monolith. And I hit my Time Vault. So unless they have a Force of Vigor, they are going to take, I'm going to take infinite turns and they are going to die. And here you got to see the extreme power of the Smelting Vat portion of the deck, which is really fun. All right. And then we take their Spirit Token and we forge onto it with the initiative and attack them for lethal. People were wrong about Saga, though. I wish you could tell that to people. So this is a good question. If I want Force of Will in this matchup, I don't know the answer. What I think I'm going to do is, because some of these decks are playing Null Rods, I'm just going to bring in Cage and Chain. Yeah, I don't know if one extra turn is going to do it, unfortunately, but that is true. I like Chains and Cage and Trinisphere. And then I typically don't want to play Tinker Citadel against this kind of deck. So I usually take out Tinker Citadel top, and then probably just this key. The fifth key is definitely something I'm not sure needs to be in the deck. But I do like the amount of redundancy it provides in terms of like activating Vat and hitting key every time and because sometimes you need to activate Vat like 3-4 times to find your Time Vault, and key is very important in doing that. So 3 ball on the draw? Yeah, I think so. Against this deck? I don't think it's like as good as it could be, but it's definitely I think in range. Oh wow. Big prize. You want some? You're smart. So smart. What do you have? Fish. Should have saved you some of that rice. That rice came out so good. Super hot. Yeah. All right. I think his hand's okay. It's a little susceptible to a lot of the things that Oath is doing, but it's fine. Worth noting, Grafdigger's Cage doesn't poorly interact with Smelting Vat, but it does poorly interact with Mystic Forge. Uh-oh. That's a lot of mayonnaise. All right, it's a hard cast force representation, probably. This is a good draw. So that is 3, 4. I think I'm going to play Ancient Tomb this turn. What am I going to do? I kind of don't want to play into Mindbreak Trap. But I also don't want to play into Force of Vigor. And I don't really know how I do all of the things. If I were to go Ancient Tomb, Pearl, Cage, Lotus, but then I can't hold open. Well, I can go Ancient Tomb, Cage, Pearl, Lotus, play Vat, and hold open Cage activation, and just not care about Mindbreak Trap. It's probably the best. Probably the best way to do this. Yeah. I think this also plays around Vigor the best way, right? I mean, this plays around Mindbreak Trap the worst, but it plays around Vigor the best. I guess if my opponent counters Cage, then it doesn't do that. Well, I'm not sure we're going to be able to play the Thought Monitor if they have multiple pieces of interaction. They're really debating this Cage, which makes me think they don't have Vigor. What? What? Laugh at me? Only Twitch chat can laugh at me.
Mayonnaise.
Wow, they forced my Cage? When they have Hardcast Force up? What does that mean? Why would you do that? I guess maybe they have Vigor with no green card. Am I still playing out my Vat this turn? I kind of think I am. No, my opponent's on Oath. Okay. I mean, if you're going to force Cage by all means. Okay. So what's the plan? Is it like a dig through time or something? They're short on dig through time. Oh. Okay. You had to make green mana if you wanted to play Oath. This made sense. This play made sense if they... Oh, they didn't have any blue mana. Ah, they didn't have any... Okay, so I think they have... Oh. I see. I assume you're just turning this Vat into an elk, right? Vogo is quite good against us, I think, right now, with how far behind we are. My opponent had Lotus Walk Mox. I mean, they can just untap. They can turn this into an elk, untap, and play Oath of Druids, and I think we're pretty cold to that, seeing as they forced my Cage. It's got to be pretty high on the Oath hands I'd like to have, though. It's too late. That one deserves to live. All right, Oko's making a food token. Sure. I wish I could vat it myself, like the own vat. I wish I could vat the vat, but well, maybe they wanted to hold open hardcast Force of Will. That's like my only, like maybe they wanted to hardcast Force of Will, but then they chose not to. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Do I want to try to hit double Moxen? What's my likelihood on that? 8 in 8. Probably not very high. Let's not do that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why my opponent has Flusterstorm in against me, but yeah, this was their play the whole time, huh? Okay. Weird. All right, I'm like super dead here. I don't even know how we're gonna play through this, seeing as this is not castable. I mean, we can play another Vat out. Doesn't really help us against Oko though. I'm sure, assuming my opponent is just going to go and get a Sarah's Emissary. This is basically almost like the best hand you can ask for from Oath. That's not like turn 1 Orchard, Forbidden Orchard Oath with force backup, right? I definitely want to see what their creature is. All right, we can beat Sarah's Emissary. Not a huge deal. It involves like infinite turns with the initiative, but it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, they can just elk my second Vat here, which is really annoying. It doesn't help me cast this Thought Monitor. Good job. I assume my opponent is just going to choose creatures or artifacts or something. Probably creatures. A new card type? I have not seen that. I don't really closely follow spoiler season anymore because it lasts all year long. They are boarding in Null Rods, by the way. Probably on Code Provider's deck then. I really dislike that from my side of the table. But I guess we'll have chains for that. This matchup seems extremely hard. Just my opponent being a Pyroblast, Force of Vigor, Null Rod deck does not seem like it puts us in a good spot. I keep drawing the 4-mana Smelting Vats. I'm just going to concede here. I don't really think it's worth playing this out anymore. So the question is, do I want to bring in Force? I still think the answer is no. I think Chain is the play. My opponent just had a super powerful hand in comparison to mine. So I'm not really worried. They were on the play. They had Moxen, Lotus, Time Walk, Oko, Force. I think that's fine. Yeah, I have seen the artifact. I don't really know if it has any real playability, but oh, I mean, sure, but like I'm just counting that as part of their hand. The cards they drew were much more powerful than ours, right? Yeah, but you don't really want to be playing Dark Depths right now. I don't think it really works with Dark Depths. You would have to be playing like the Blood Sun thing, or like the Blood Moon thing. Man. Yeah, I guess so. one's a little bit hinging on my Mightstone resolving, but I don't think I'm going to put away this kind of fast mana. Step hand definitely has its issues, though. Especially against Null Rod. I'm just going to snap off a turn 1 Mightstone. I'm still going to play Workshop in case I draw into more action. And just play the most cards I can play every turn. Opponent kept a 6. I got a Lotus. I've got a Mightstone, maybe? It's just a divination for 5 mana. What's the harm? I could have Ancestral. You can't force this. Alright, divination, draw 2. Hitting... I actually can't cast this Time Walk because the Mightstone does not cast non-artifact spells. Unfortunate. So, just going to play Time Vault and pass it back. So if I get Null Rotted here, I'm pretty screwed. Kind of needed maybe to hit like initiative card plus mana would have been really nice. Yeah, it's weird. Like I made this deck really, really good at making blue mana, and it's still pretty bad at making blue mana. But it is what it is. I technically had blue mana that turn. Oh, they're just gonna go for Strip Mine? That's good for us. I guess it's not good for us if we get Vigored and Strip Mined, but honestly, the fact that this deck no longer plays Defense Grid makes you super, super weak to Vigor decks. It's just really hard to power through. Kind of need like the initiative. That helps a lot. But I kind of disagree with the assessment from... Like, I think Sean had the assessment that Defense Grid was bad, but I thought Defense Grid was quite good in this deck. My problem with Defense Grid was that it didn't stop me from dying to combo players. So... Alright, so am I getting Vigored? I'm not. Oh, wow. That is a hell of a draw. So what I'm going to do is play a Sapphire. Yeah. Right, exactly. Those are the decks that I felt the deck was bad against, so. I'm not going to Time Walk. I'm going to play a Smelting Vat and then Vat my Mightstone. I think my Vat will get countered, but maybe I will play a Time Walk then. Why are we pausing for 8 years behind every cast? I guess Sapphire is kind of a interesting counter target for them. Yeah, I'm gonna cast Time Walk. I think it's fine. I guess the way this downside of this is if I get Vigored on this and this, but I guess I would still be mad if I played Smelting Vat and I got Vigored on in response on this and this or this and this. So I don't think it matters that much. Okay, so they did have Vigor. Of course they had Vigor. I'm surprised they didn't Vigor in upkeep. I would have Vigored in upkeep. I would have snapped off a Vigor in my upkeep. We're pretty dead. We are pretty dead. Lost my blue source. So that was another reason to use my blue source on Time Walk, was because we could lose it. All right, so I still have some play here. They can have Nature's Claim. I think I'm gonna play that first. I can still win off of vatting my Grim Monolith, and this presents like a little bit of a better situation where they have their hands a little more forced, and I don't lose my infinite win. I think this makes more sense to me. They could also like have Nature's Claim as well. All right, so this is gonna give me nice. These are really, really nice. I'm just gonna not. I'm gonna take Mana Vault and Opal. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could play. I think they have Nature's Claim. I don't really know how to play around it anymore, though. If I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can actually activate. I can cast Thought Monitor before activating if my key resolves, so I think it's fine. So I'll play key, and then I can still play Thought Monitor and have mana to key. I guess if I get Vigored again, though, it's really bad. Yo, what's up, Beers? You can just vacuum it. Just mute the stream for a sec. No, they had Force of Will, pitching Fluster, and they pitched Oko. They still... Interesting. Not forcing Smelting Vat is super odd. They're still leaving in Fluster against me, too. Well, I mean, we are kind of powering through Vigor here. But we are drawing a little bit too many Smelting Vats. And we don't have that much mana. So if we get, like, Wastelanded here, things could be kind of bad. Are they going to play an Oath? No Oath. Okay. So they're still on interaction. I mean, we're not that much time behind our opponent. I think it's just felt longer on their decisions than maybe it was. All right, so I'm going to attack, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to Smelting Vat my Thought Monitor, which should give me a variety of things off of that. Didn't actually get very good things, but I did get a key and oh, they're off it. Okay, I got a key and a monolith, which gives me an infinite combo with my Time Vault. Anyways, and I also have the ability to play. I also should have tapped this Opal for blue mana before I activated my Smelting Vat. I think my opponent like very much misevaluated their Vigor and Force targets. I think if I were them, I would have Vigored in my upkeep after Strip Mining, and I would have forced the Smelting Vat. Or if I hadn't Vigored the way I had, then I would have forced Smelting Vat. I mean, that's kind of what you gain from playing a kind of a weird deck, right? All right, here we go. We got round 3. We're got a rematch versus Tinker. I don't know if they'll be on mono white still. I think they will be, seeing as they're currently 2-1. So rematch versus mono white, we're on the play. Knowing that they're on mono white gives us a little bit more flexibility. This hand is a Moxen away from turn 1 Karn, which would have been just the best. It would have been quite good. Unfortunately, as it is with Seagate, Sapphire, Time Vault, Opal, Go, I would be pretty scared to keep this hand. I think it's just not good enough. I'm going to mulligan for something better. This is obviously much, much better, and in fact, looks like a turn 2 win, depending on what my opponent plays on turn 1. So, or maybe not a win, but puts us extremely far ahead. And this is just a great example of why I love Tome in this deck. The fact that it fixes us for blue mana. I think I am going to keep Time Vault. I guess if I get wastelanded, I don't want to keep Time Walk. I would rather keep Moxen. So let's just keep Moxen then. So yeah, against Mono White here, we're gonna slam a tome, take the initiative, get an island. No, wait, what am I kidding? I should have taken Time Walk because the tome makes mana. It might only make 1 mana, but I should be fine keeping Time Walk. I kind of wanted Time Walk in case I brick. They mulligan to 3 cards. Wow. It's really low. I can at least appreciate turn 1 Tinker because I feel like they have a good grasp of their deck's mulliganing patterns typically from the many times that I've played versus turn 1 Tinker. And I do believe Mono White is a deck where you need to mulligan quite a lot, and I think people improperly mulligan with Mono White. So what are you asking about, Opal? I wanted to have turn 1 Karn. If Karn isn't on turn 1 in this matchup, it doesn't do anything. Oh, you're talking about a different game. Never mind. Yeah, I think in retrospect, I probably wanted to keep Time Walk here. Just get all our things out. Let's see what our opponent does to us. All right, Mana Crypt into... Nice, awesome. White Plume Adventure is the least threatening 1 mana or turn 1 play from the opponent's deck. This gives us the opportunity to tinker. Just gonna tinker off of... I still am just gonna tinker off of Monolith, even though I could like play key and it's free. Oh, maybe I have enough mana to just do Vault Key. Hold on. 1 mana, 2 mana. Okay, I just have enough mana to Vault Key. I almost went for Citadel for fun. What if they had Mental Misstep? All right, so now we're on the draw, and we are playing against Initiative. I'm going to... Did I take out Tinker last game or just Citadel? I can't remember. I want to bring in all of this. And I typically take out all of this. And I take out Karn on the draw. I usually take out Forge on the draw. And I take out Top. And I take out this key. I just find it's like kind of likely that you will be locked down and not able to do your thing. So from my experience so far, this kind of playing this blue initiative game works pretty well against mono white, but we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I left in a voltaic key, and I have 3 manifold keys, but unblockable is important in the initiative subgames, Ajad. So no, I don't think so. All right, this one has a force. This one is missing mana, but if I hit any Moxen or fast lands, then it's really good. I'm gonna keep this hand and force their turn 1 play, and then hopefully we'll draw into mana needed to do something. Yeah, no worries. I enjoy streaming. It's a good time. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Both of those things are free actions you can help me do to grow the channel. And if you have Twitch Prime, by all means, I accept. Or support one of your other Magic the Gathering creators. Chalice of the Void. So that means they are not playing a 0 drops. Oh yeah, so you're misevaluating how I want to play the matchup. Post board, I'm trying to be the better initiative deck than them, and I found it typically works. But I'm gonna let this happen. I'm gonna force a Null Rod off the Ancient Tomb, which is probably coming. Oh, just Saga? Interesting. Very odd. That's a 7-card keep. Interesting. Well, I do need to hit a land now, unfortunately. But ooh, wow, yeah. So Saga Gaming, interesting. Definitely good against my forcible hand, considering I did not choose to force this land. I did hit land. Pretty lucky. Unfortunately, my initiative is going to be stolen. Um, but there's not much I can really do about that. I definitely need to hit my other basic as well, so. Yeah, this was I mean my hand was not really set up to play a saga matchup here, but I think their token shouldn't be too big for me to Might Stone. And I can actually metamorph a construct, and my construct should be quite large as well. So I think it's okay. Though that will give them the initiative and fix them for mana. I guess they were going to get a Black Lotus and they were fixed for mana no matter what. This looks really hard to win. Just kind of an awkward setup. Yeah, I'm pretty concerned about this game, to be honest. I don't know if we're going to have the oomph we need. It's possible we don't even Might Stone a creature. We just Might Stone a draw and try to power through. But it's a little bit harder to power through when you take out Smelting Vat. I don't know. Like, I might be misevaluating how you're supposed to play this, and you could totally keep in Smelting Vats, but, I don't know. Like, you'd have to take stuff out to get in Forcible and Metamorphs and Chains and stuff. So I don't know exactly. Like I said, I think historically for the matches that I've been testing, I've been pretty happy playing that kind of back and forth mid range game. But the matches here versus Turn One Tinker have been very, very close, and obviously slightly favored to them. But they were kind of on a knife's edge, like 1 card difference. So, all right, my opponent is really debating whether or not they want a construct or 3 colorless mana. They can play like 3 white creatures this turn if they just get a Black Lotus and play like 2-drop, 2-drop, 2-drop. No, I left in Tinker. It is a blue card, but I did take out Citadel. So I can still Tinker for Vault Key or like Tinker for Mightstone against like an Archon or something. So I still have Tinker, but I don't have Citadel. Because I just find that you don't often have the ability to like really Citadel combo against mono white. Especially if I'm like, depending on like how I'm evaluating their threats and what I'm countering. So they did go for Black Lotus. I expect either like 2 3-drop white creatures here or 3 2-drop white creatures. Yeah, Stone is nuts. I think Stone is just super, super good. I think Stone is great. I mean, I'm evaluating it higher than I previously thought I would too. So, wow. So they are okay. They're gonna lose the floating mana and go get a plains with the initiative. I think Stone is probably like one of the best cards printed for shops in recent history. I think this card is just super good. All right, so it's gonna be a little while before we can get the initiative back, unless my opponent plays an initiative creature. We do need to evaluate how we want to use our metamorph and how we want to use our stone. Both of those are pretty versatile here. Yeah, I'm kind of the opinion that every shop sec should play a Might Stone at least. The stones, as they were. I think there actually is a card called the Might Stone, so I probably shouldn't say that. Is that like saying Dragon Engine instead of Phyrexian Dragon Engine? Recall instead of Ancestral Recall? All right, so let's see what their first one is. All right, so I'm going to let this one happen because it does give us a way to take back the initiative right away if we want. Obviously, they can forge. Well, there's a Might Stone and a Weak Stone. Interesting. All right, so what are you going to forge onto? Sure. And then if the second card that they play is bad for me, we can force that and then make changes. I don't think Kiki Jiki is a huge deal, but it might just be enough of a deal where I should force it. Yeah. Or sorry, Kataki, not Kiki Jiki. My bad. Wrong spirit. Well, is Kataki a spirit? That's a goblin, right? Never mind. All right, so my opponent, I assume, will just play planes and go here, but they could have like Ancient Tomb Null Rod, which is, I mean, good for them if they have that, I guess. Second Saga. All right, so I have lots of choices now. I'm thinking, I actually really like this draw too. So I'm thinking we metamorph the White Plume Adventurer, getting us back the initiative, forging onto our White Plume Adventurer, and then Might Stone the Construct. Or do I want to just draw cards? Well, first I think I'm going to play a Workshop and take the initiative because I want to make sure I get extra mana off of my tome. I think I like that the most. I think I do want the life as well. Is Forge better than Scrying here? I do think so. I do think so. Because I want my White Plume Adventurer to win on board. And it will be winning on board, right? Like, if I opt to Forge onto here and kill this Construct token, then I have a winning on board 5/5 Vigilance. And I can go down trap lines. And I have an unblockable key. I think so. Unless they have, like, Solitude, I guess. I guess they could have Lauren. Lauren is quite bad. So what I can do here is, because I saved the mana, I have enough mana to, and I got the initiative back, which gives me a mana. I have enough mana to Might Stone. And I think I am just going to just kill this Construct token. So obviously this leaves me with not a lot of follow-up, but I guess I'm just like super exposed to Lauren, maybe. Maybe that's too much. And maybe I should just be trying to draw through. I could see that being the case. Wasteland, sure. That means we're not getting Lauren. This is a 2/2, so they could trade with my board. That would be fine. I could just make my thing unblockable. I have Vigilance. I have Trap. Unfortunately, 16. I guess if they use Ancient Tomb, it's not great for them. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Trap. I think we're like looking at possibly winning by combat here. I did draw mana though. Hmm. I should make sure that I untap my Monolith. Yeah, I mean, if they have Solitude, we are, this line is super bad, right? But if they activate their Saga, then they actually are dead on board, right? So, well, I guess they could get a Needle for Key. I still think that's okay with us. Okay, so they are going to go for a Construct. I mean, I think I'm like most worried about Lauren over Solitude, but yeah, so I get to untap my White Plume, which actually is pretty nice. And then I don't know. I kind of like the spot. I feel like they have to get a Needle on Manifold Key if they don't have an answer to White Plume. Maybe like a super aggressive line with Trap and going for this and Forge, but feels reasonable. I think I am just gonna respond here and untap my Grim Monolith though. Okay, I'm F6. Let's see what my opponent does for us. They have so many cards in hand. I know one of them is a Plains, and then we have a Saga coming off here. I guess an additional artifact from hand would give them a 5/5, but they can't play any 0-drop, so it would have to be, I don't know, a Soul Ring or something. I don't think they play Soul Ring, right? So they would have to like have Drawn Needle and get a 0. So they're gonna Needle Manifold Key so they don't die to unblockable at Plume Adventuring. Yep. Are we winning on this board here? They attack and get back the initiative. I kill this construct. Oh wait, no, I kill this White Plume so they don't untap. Yeah, I kill this White Plume so they don't untap. They take back the initiative. I trap and go down to 4. Then they have to chump here. It's close. It's close. It's super close. Yeah, I think we're going to have to draw something that helps. Because they're going to play a creature and things are going to be bad. Like, if they hit Throne, they're going to win, probably. I mean, we could draw a Tome. Tome would be great. Mightstone is obviously great. Another mana is ungreat. They have a Needle. I would totally use my key if I could. All right. So they have to block. Things are bad. We did draw like exactly like Ian said. We drew mana. I don't have any other things here, so my opponent gets to draw a card off Archives, and we're probably going to lose. I would think. That's true. They can't use Tomb, so maybe they won't have enough mana to play an initiative creature on this turn. That's a good point. I didn't even consider that. I still won't be able to take back the initiative. We could have drawn Chains on Needle, so they do have a second Plains. All right, I mean, they're still going to hit Throne, though, if we don't take back the initiative, which we can't really do without winning the game, so... Wow. I mean, if we complete the dungeon, we can get cards off our Tomb as well. All right, so my opponent, I think they're still just going to win this game here. Unfortunately for us. We just have not drawn any action. So now they can get a Lauren and kill the White Plume. They hit Seasoned Dungeoneer, Anointed Peacekeeper, Thalia, White Plume, Spirit of the Labyrinth. So I would assume they just take Seasoned Dungeoneer. I guess they could maybe take Spirit of the Labyrinth, because if I get the initiative back with Tome... Unfortunately, this is bigger than my White Plume Adventurer at the moment, and I am going to die to Trap. I actually am going to die to the Seasoned Dungeoneer too, so I have one more draw step, if I get a draw step. I mean, we drew 3 blanks in a row, right? Not much we can really do about that. They have a Spirit on their own. Yeah, so now I can't... Now Tome is not actually an out. I guess... I mean, Chain is an out. Chain is my out here. Chain is like a lightning bolt. No, I guess if they chain, they can bounce back my stupid White Plume. So maybe not Chain. I hate Chain because of that reason. Yeah, I mean, we drew three dead ones and lost. Kind of rough. Pretty rough. 4 dead ones, 5 dead ones, 7 dead. Yeah, our deck was not happy with us. I understand. All right, on the play, we do want to bring in this Karn. Like I said, I really think that we were actually in a pretty good spot in that game, all things considered, and we really just needed our deck to be a little bit stronger than it was. Kind of unfortunate. I don't know what my cut is supposed to be here. I guess it can just be a monolith. Maybe I'll make it an opal instead. Very unfortunate. I was not happy. Like, so that's kind of the idea, though, is that I do believe our deck can play a mid-range game versus them. Oh, I love this hand. This hand's great. Oh, this is a super cool hand. I like this hand a lot. Oh, PO video is doing well. Thanks, everybody. I'm actually really happy with how well the try hard videos are doing. Typically, or like historically, the try hard videos used to do worse than like the Mimi videos, but recently all of like the PTQs and RCQ PO videos have done really well. Yeah, it's the recent ones. I mean, I think if you just like have the like RCQ, showcase, PTQ, all those tags, people are just more interested in that, which is good. All right, my opponent is on the mulligan to 5. These have been good games against Mono White Initiative, though. I felt like these battles have been pretty back and forth, and I've been pretty happy with how these have gone. I guess this plays into... Yeah, I'm going to play the Tome so I don't get Mind Break trapped on my Tome here. I can still play the key and untap my Monolith, so I think that sequencing is probably correct. Yeah, the Mana Traders video did really well, too. It's true. I kind of wish I hadn't broken that video into 2 parts, but why am I F6, Justin? Don't F6. Spirit of the Labyrinth. That's so annoying because I have a stupid thought monitor in my hand. All right, I think I am going to force it just because I think the thought monitor is worth it. I think it puts us in a good spot. I guess we're going down the well this time. See what's on top. Manifold Key, Soul Ring. I'm just going to bottom both of those. Give me some more action, please. Chain of Vapor is not considered action at your local action mart. Time Walk is considered something, but I don't actually have the ability to cast that, so... Alright, well, let's see what our opponent dropped on us. They did mulligan quite a lot in this game. They mulligan down to 5. I really wish I didn't have to counter Spirit of the Labyrinth. If I didn't have a Thought Monitor in my hand, there's no chance I would have countered Spirit of the Labyrinth, but... there is a consideration to forcing the Mox, but I haven't liked forcing off-color Moxen. At least the first off-color Moxen. If it was a Pearl, I would have forced it. If it was a Lotus, I would have forced it. If it was... Like, there's a bunch of things I would have forced there, but I wouldn't... I don't think I would... I'm going to force opening Emerald. All right, so they're stealing back the initiative, and then we're stealing back the initiative. And then we're time walking. Okay. Right, hit you with this thought monitor. I'm pretty close to the Seagate, right? I'm pretty sure I'm almost at casting Seagate. I need an additional blue source besides the stash. So I think I'm going to hold the Seagate and play the Tome. Sorry, play the Time Walk. And see if we can't maybe Seagate in this game. Is there anything else I can do? There are things I can do, like bounce my thought monitor to draw more cards. I'm not ready to do that yet. All right, so now we get a Skelly Bro. We hit a Might Stone, which I really like. I don't know. I don't think I need to kill this White Plume adventure, seeing as I have a Skelly Bro. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cast this. I'm not gonna actually use my Tomb mana, Tome mana, because I could maybe activate it off the dungeon if I draw into another Tome. So I think I would rather just use my Monolith mana, and I'm gonna play a Might Stone and draw. And I did not hit what I was looking for. I didn't hit a blue source, but I did hit a force, which is kind of nice. I'm gonna hold this emerald because I don't need the mana, and I would rather have a card in hand if I get to cast Seagate Restoration. So I am going to attack and pass. Ah. Uncle. Oh, I'll have chocolate. Mm-hmm. All right, so we are probably going to be able to go into the throne room. And then we have we're still like, we're 6 out of, we have only 7 cards in our deck, 6 total cards in our deck to hit. So it's not like we're 100% to hit. Any of our hits are great, obviously, because it's metamorphs and monitors. If we do make it to the throne room, we also have the ability to play free cards off of our tome, which is super, super strong. And we can almost cast the Seagate Restoration, which is also pretty good usually. So this is like, hopefully this will end up being a really strong example of how I like to play this deck against mono white. Because I don't think it's exactly straightforward what you should do in terms of like how to play this deck in sideboard. I know I've had people like tell me they've gone 0-5 with this deck, and I don't think it's really an 0-5 deck for the most part. Lauren with the ability to counter Lauren. Lauren ETBs and kills Thought Monitor or Tome. Maybe Tome, seeing as we're going to hit. I think we can just force this pitching chain. I don't think we're actually in danger anymore. We could technically pitch Seagate. Maybe we should just pitch Seagate. This gives us the ability to play through a Null Rod. Yeah, I'm just going to pitch Seagate. I think it's okay. I wanted to keep Seagate, but I don't think it's necessary to winning this game anymore. So, opponent! I guess we could bounce Monitor or Tome with Chain of Vapor. But I also don't really want them to have a Lauren in play in case they have a Krakus or something. Hardcast was an option. Yeah, no, we probably should have Hardcast. The only problem with Hardcast is it takes away one of our blue sources. You're right. Maybe I should have Hardcast. So let me... Oh, the draw button is broken. I wanted to see if we would hit. We didn't get to do any of the fun things because our opponent has seen the writing on the wall. But like clearly in this game, we showcased how our deck is like more powerful than what they're doing. You're right though. I probably... I guess if they play Lauren here, I wonder if Chain is better. We can just chain back our Tome or our Thought Monitor or both. Wait, what if... Yeah, maybe that's even better. Sorry, that's like a line I didn't really think about here. All right, so I think any of the 3 choices are fine. And I think probably chose the worst of the 3. All right, round 4. Now we're up against non-basic land. Non-basic land historically is like a 5-color combo shops player, but recently they've been playing mono white initiative. We have another opening hand with a tome. This is just my favorite card right now. One of my favorite cards right now. It's so sweet. I mean, for what it's worth, the misplay with the brainstorm didn't actually cost me the game because my opponent had too good of a dredge hand anyways, which is, you know, some solace, but I don't want to make a mistake if I don't have to, right? This hand looks quite good against mono white, I would think. So let's see how this goes. Again, I am just gonna play around Mindbreak Trap with this. Oh, this is pause. Maybe they have force now. Obviously, if my opponent does counter this tome, I wouldn't be able to play my other fast mana. I don't think it's a huge detriment, though. I don't know. Like, they could obviously be on Force of Will and not be on mono white. That's definitely within range. All right, so I have deployed, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 mana on turn 1. Let's see what our opponent does. And I have a nice follow-up 1 mana draw 2, or I guess it might be more like a 3 mana draw 2, but... All right, Saga Gamer. It's a good sign. I really think my matchup versus most Saga Gaming is pretty good. Saga Gaming is quite slow. Mightstone? I definitely keep a Mightstone. So now I'm actually going to switch it up. I'm going to go Mightstone first because it is an artifact, which is going to lower my affinity cost and also pays for it. And I'm going to draw. And then I'm going to play a Pearl. I mean, we might just win this turn. I'm going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can play my Island and play my Thought Monitor. I can play Grim Monolith. And then I can play a Vat. I guess it's... Yeah, I'm going to have to use this Grim Monolith anyways. And then I have a Vat. And then I can sack anything to the Vat. I think I'll sack the Monitor. I could sack the Mightstone. But the Monitor can hit Citadel. So I'm going to sack the Monitor. And I didn't hit Citadel, but I did hit Black Lotus Key. I think it's going to be better for me. Well, how much mana do I have? I have the ability to activate 2 keys. No, I need mana to activate my Vat a few more times. I think I'm just going to go Black Lotus and Key. And then I'm going to untap my Smelting Vat, and then I'm going to Vat away the Mightstone. And then the Mightstone can hit either a Tome or a Vat or a Mightstone plus a Sapphire. So I think I like... How close am I to... I think I'm going to just take a Might... I have a Thought Monitor in my hand I can cast off of Sapphire. I think I'm just going to take Vat and Sapphire. Because I can still Vat into a Time Vault. Oh my god, we're just going off. Okay, I'm going to Vat my Thought Monitor so I can still hit Citadel. Maybe I could have done that earlier off of the Lotus. This one did not hit Citadel or Time Vault, but I did hit a Mightstone and a Grim Monolith. That should be fine. We're basically going to go through our whole deck to find Vault Key this turn. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Where's my... So how many times have we acted a Smelting Vat this turn? We're going to be up to 32 cards, and there's Time Vault. Yep. All right. That's a turn 2 kill by Smelting Vatting through my entire deck. I love this deck. It's really cool. I'm gonna... I'm gonna just board like their mono white. They had a bunch of mulliganings into a saga, and they've been on mono white recently, so I think it's a reasonable assumption to make. We're gonna do the same board plan and as we've done before, where we're gonna do. And then we're gonna bring in all this. What was the last card I was taking out? Oh, it was top, right? Like this. And then on the play, we'll take out an opal. I guess it's kind of weird to take out an opal on the play, but whatever. That was pretty sweet. Unfortunately, we didn't get to time Thought Monitor into a Citadel. That is something I haven't actually done yet. But I really want to. This hand has... Wow, this hand is a little short. I think this is a keep. Oh, man. Let's try it. I don't know. It's pretty close. Yeah, I mean, this isn't like a good hand against, like, if you're trying to combo kill. What? What? Were they just gonna go for a 3-ball? They must have been just going for a 3-ball, huh? Maybe I'm supposed to hide this from a wasteland, but I don't really like that. Maybe I was supposed to keep my metamorph so that I could metamorphose. Okay. That's not a lot of additional mana. They must have drawn one of these for turn. It's a 3-ball. It's an Archon. I'm just gonna force the Archon. I mean, they draw a white source. We probably lose this game, especially if we don't draw mana this turn, but we do have a lot of ways to draw mana this turn. That's one of them. But if they just take back the initiative, if they go like land, White Plume, it's pretty bad for us. Okay. I mean, I'm not really convinced this was a good idea. Maybe I should have mulliganed this hand, but... Yep, they drew land. They have Cleric White Plume here. Oh, I'm definitely... Oh, that's human. And Chrome Mox. Wow. Chrome Mox on blue. Oh, so this is going to be Seasoned Dungeoneer. Okay. Oh, it's Karn. Interesting. Oh, we get to go into the Lost Well. And we hit Thought Monitor, which we cannot cast. Wow, killing Sapphire saved them from getting Thought Monitored. One, two, three, four, five, six. I'm still taking Thought Monitor, and I get a stash on the next turn. So, yeah, I mean, that's the reason I put Forces in the deck, is to help against Karn, for sure. Chain also helps against Karn. I mean, I think the changes I made recently should help against a lot of your worst matchups. I think I'm just going to bottom the Jet anyways. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, it's fine. Obviously, if my opponent kills the Opal, then I won't have enough to play Thought Monitor, but so be it. Wow, they killed the Opal. They didn't want to get anything from their board. I mean, I don't think Jund helps you in that sense, but... All right, well, now I need a land or a 0-drop to play my Thought Monitor. I drew a 0-drop anyways. Sometimes powerful wizardry is happening. I mean, we were already going to get a... oh, those don't do much. All right, so we still have the initiative currently. We have a Skelly Bro on the way if they don't draw a Seasoned Dungeoneer. We have... I mean, we have gotten 3 artifacts picked off by Karn, but we have a Thought Monitor in play. We got a Skelly Bro in play. We have a Force of Will. Not ideal. I think I am going to play this Monolith, though. We got to start taking this Karn down. We don't get to kill the Karn next turn, unfortunately. 6 damage is not enough to kill Karn if it pluses. Which it probably will. We are currently 1 away from the Throne Room. What just happened? Plus on nothing. All right, we hit the Throne Room, so we have 6 hits. We missed. I mean, my opponent has whiffed for a really long time in this game, so I can't really complain here. I would have loved to draw a blue card. I guess a blue card doesn't matter that much. Again, I think I'm willing to take all this damage to just use my mana efficiently. Once we get our mana back from Karn, we can activate the Tome. Oh, they did hit a human. Is it Lauren? Or is it... It's Thalia. Now, that doesn't matter. Actually, it's pretty good against our board to take it taking the initiative, though. I guess we can just Smite Stone it. Oh, they killed the treasure. That makes sense. We've lost a lot of 0-drop artifacts here. I think we were pretty lucky, though. We drew pretty well, and our opponent drew pretty poorly. So this Karn is going to die. I also get my basic island number 2, which is kind of nice. And I have a new Thought Monitor coming. So I don't longer have to worry about Force or Solitude. So I can attack them, and I can attack Karn. I can attack them. Neither of these blocks Thalia anyways. So now, what are my best plays? I have the ability to Tome. 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. I have the ability to Mightstone, but I could just kill the Thalia. I kind of think like Mightstone, kill Thalia, Thought Monitor. Maybe I don't even need to kill Thalia. But I feel like we're super far ahead if I just kill Thalia. Oh, I have to pay 6 mana, though. It's kind of annoying. 5 artifact. I could just cast Thought Monitor instead. Am I going to be able to activate a book this turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I play my land, I can still activate a book and hold up force. Yeah, this is probably fine. Let's do Mightstone, Weakstone. Let's just kill Thalia. And then we'll play a land and we'll activate Tome. Kind of wanted to do that for fun. See what happens. Ooh, look, a Tome. How does this read? Exile from the top until you exile a non-land card. What were the other cards then? What were the other cards that it showed? I'm kind of confused. Isn't Metamorph a non-land card? I don't really understand. Why did it show Metavorth Chain of Vapors? Why were these cards revealed? Did it not work? They're not in... Oh, they're in exile. Why were they exiled? Is it only hitting... Well, it's not hitting permanents. Oh. They were cards I pitched to force, and it just showed my exile zone because the card I'm casting is from exile. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. Tome just exiles the card and you cast it from exile. So those were other cards I had previously exiled. All right, here we are, 5th and final round now with our Smelting Vat deck. We are currently 3-1. Took a rough loss to Mono White in the beginning, but we climbed our way back and we beat Mono White a couple more times along the way. For those who want to know, I've been playing this deck in leagues a bit throughout the week. I think I 4-1'd the majority of my leagues. I haven't gotten a trophy. I lost my trophy match twice. But I think this deck is super strong if you are boarding correctly. I don't think Saga is unplayable in PO. I think Saga is a tool that PO decks can choose to use. I think I like that people have been playing less Sagas in their POs. Like the Italian PO Master is down to 2 Sagas in their Esper PO deck. So this is 2 mana for Tomb, 3 mana down to 2 mana for top Opal. I actually don't think this is a keep. Maybe it's a keep. It's a turn 2 Vat activation. Well, like I'm not going to use this monolith on my top. I don't think I want to do that. No, let's try it. If chat thinks it's a keep, I'm down to give it a shot. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play top because I think I need this monolith to play Vat or Tome. I love that, Ian. I do have that problem as well, though. I do typically view cards from the decks that I play, which I think is a really bad way to evaluate cards. I do try to correct for that, but it's still, you know, an inherent bias. Where, like, I think, you know, PO is really good against Mono White and Saga, which definitely colors my opinion. Like, PO is pretty good against Ragavan, which you know, changes my opinion. I think as long as you're aware of that, then it's fine. And it's not like I just like don't think about the other decks. It's just I have much more experience with the decks where it's true or where it's my point of view. Yeah, I think Mono White Initiative is super interesting because like I don't think it had any business being played as much as it ended up being played. I hope this is not a combo shops mirror match because we do not have as strong a hand as this. I really hope it's not Jewel Shops because I just think the Jewel Shops matchup is atrocious. We'll see what happens here. I don't know. My hand isn't bad, but I just feel like on the play we might want to London Mulligan it. Mightstone, Weakstone. That doesn't really tell us which kind they are. I think my opponent's likely on Jewel Shops, and we are going to get murdered if we pass the turn. So I think we're going to go for like a Smelting Vat and Prey line, maybe. Yeah, it is Jewel Shops. Oh, we're so dead. Jewel Shops, I don't know. Jewel Shops is my biggest problem with trying to play Smelting Vat decks. It just feels like I am playing the weaker deck. My opponent's deck is just, ooh, okay. That's a Forge and a top. All right, so which one of these lines gives us the highest chance to win on this turn? Because if we pass the turn, my opponent is going to Moonsilver Key for a coveted jewel and combo and kill us. I think we are 0% to win if we pass the turn. So we need to figure out which one of our lines gives us the highest chance of winning this turn. Is it Forge or Vat? And I think the answer is Forge because the Vat doesn't have a good activation right now. Theoretically, we could go Tome for 2 mana into Vat, but then we don't actually, and we could activate Vat, but then we would have to hit, even if we hit Vault Key, we wouldn't have had we won't have the mana. We won't have the mana. So even if we use Tome as a Vat activator, we don't have the mana. So it's just going to be Forge and hope we hit a bunch of Moxen into something good. I just don't think Vat can get there. So, and we have a top, so it's not like we have no way to manipulate the top of our library. That is so bad for me though. I think it's Forge, but I think neither line is, or I don't think there's a possibility to win with the Vat line. I mean, there's a possibility, right? You could hit, I don't know, like some kind of crazy key line, but I think the Forge had a higher chance. So we are going to have to draw through this. I don't think spinning does anything for us unless we hit exactly like Mana Crypt or something. That's like additional 0 mana, two drop mana things. I think we just want to draw through. I mean, I think we're just dead is what I think we are. I guess we do have a Seagate Restoration still for an additional mana. But I feel like we're going to have to get through this anyways, so. This could be wrong too. Don't know for sure. All right, so there's a Mox. This is a start. Tolarian Academy. Okay. That might do it. It's definitely gonna replay this. All right, so we're at an Academy now, which is giving us 4 mana, so enough to activate Smelting Vat. We could also Tome and Shuffle. We can also just spin our top. I think I'm going to start by spinning my top. Oh, is that good, though? At this point, if we cracked our Forge into a Vat, we could technically hit Time Vault Key. But we would have to hit it in 7 cards, and I'm not really sure that's good. Tome is -2 mana, but lets us keep going and gives us a shuffle. But is that actually better than spinning? I think spinning is what I want to do here. is it better to float and draw with top? And then do what? I don't understand. Maybe we could smelt. I don't know if I just don't know if I'm ready to smelt a forge here. All right, I'm gonna spin. So we can draw past both. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't even have 6 artifacts in play yet. That kind of feels like the worst thing that could have happened. I could pay 2 mana to get new cards. I guess that's kind of the same as toming. Unless I hit Time Walk. If I had Tome, I would have had more artifacts in play. All right, I'm going to cast Thought Monitor. Not convinced this is right either. I don't know if I played this section well. That's a good one. Now I have Spin or cast Tome again. I'm going to spin. Or I could just draw through. There's so many choices. Oh, I don't have mana for Tome. You're right. I'm going to spin. I hit Key Vault, but I'm 1 mana short now. No, I'm a ton of mana short now. So I could take Key and untap Monolith. Oh, Justin. If I had activated Smelting Vat, I would have won this game. I mean, I only have 2 mana. I have a Mystic Forge in play, not a Citadel. Right? Unless I'm missing something. We get an extra look. Yeah, I mean, we could hit a Black Lotus, I guess. Is that better than activate Monolith, spin? I can untap Monolith to get an additional 3 mana, or additional 2 mana. I think I played this turn badly. No. All right. I think we're losing. I think if I had gone Smelting Vat on Forge, I would have won this game, but it's just such a hard call to make when you don't know the 7 cards below and you have to hit exactly Time Vault plus a key, really. I don't think we played this turn badly. I just don't think we played a turn correctly. It's really hard to tell, though, because like there's a lot of variance in it. Oh, they already had a key? Or they already had a jewel? Yeah, we're not getting another turn here. We are just 100% dead. We had a lot of choices we could have made in our thing, and they didn't go super well. All right, I'm just gonna concede here. I think my opponent is locked. All right, so I don't exactly know how to board this one because I want Force and Metamorph, but I don't really want Chain. And then I kind of do want Vat. Like, this is almost a matchup where you don't want Tome because the game isn't going to go long enough. It's really a weird one. Manowar isn't even great, but I think you need it for blue count, especially if I'm not bringing in chain. So I think I'm just gonna like trim on this stuff and keep this. I don't know yet. I'm still trying to work out the exact sideboarding map for this, but this lets me like have force but still have combo stuff. Yeah, so I think the major thing about last turn was choosing if to vault to vat or not in the middle. Like I do think Forge was definitely better than vatting immediately. And then we hit pretty well on Forge with Moxen, but not amazing. We hit like only okay. And then there were a couple spots where we had a couple different choices, and I don't know if it was like better. Like I had 5 mana off an Academy, right? Which I was pretty lucky to hit. And I could have vatted, or I could have tomed, or I could have spun, and I didn't. Maybe we were just supposed to vat and hit off of Forge. It's just like super risky to do that. I think this hand has to go back. It doesn't have the ability to cast Ancestral or really anything in my hand. This hand... That is like not the case if you have 0 mana cards. Spinning is not. I don't think I agree. I think I'm gonna keep this hand and try to just sack into a Tinker. Just like luck sack into a Tinker. I like Seagate Go, have a force up, try to hit a mana source, time walking, and maxing. I think that's fine. I don't think this is good, but I don't know. I think the matchup is bad enough to warrant like this kind of risk. I think this is a way we can win a game here. And I'm basically always looking for a forcible hand against Jewel. Not to mention they're probably bringing in negations. Jeez. Man. Are they gonna go like 3-ball into Jewel? They almost have enough mana for that. Jewel is, Jewel is Belcher, basically, so you're kind of forced to find a hand that has force. Hey. Yeah. That's the one. All right, they have a follow-up. I mean, if they follow up with like Jewel or Moonsilver keep find Jewel, it's like super bad, right? Black Lotus? Oh, no fault. They only had 1 payoff. So they had infinite mana, 1 payoff. They might have a Jewel as their last card, I guess, right? Or did they have a mana floating? I think they had a mana floating. All right, hit the Pearl. All right, time walking to another mana source. Oh, they had mana floating. Okay, so they had just had 1 payoff. I guess they could have hardcast Force here. Badge. All right. Well, see how good my opponent top decks here. I guess if they had hardcast Force, they would have just played their Lotus and killed me. So I top decked a really good one. Pearl was definitely one of my best top decks. I didn't hit 2 in a row, but Academy. Pass. Force is a fine draw. I'm okay with that. It's a close game. Anyone could win. You don't believe me? True. Okay. Uh-oh. Saga Gaming. The clock has been put on. All right. Come on. Sad. I have a lot of mana in my deck. It's fine. Saga could be an issue, though, if I get hit for, like, 10. I'm going to draw a Workshop, is what I'm going to draw. Not like this. Not like this. Opal! God bless! All right, we're going in. We're going to go Citadel because we don't have the mana for Vault Key. Please and thank yous. Oh no, we're going to brick. Not like this. No! Why? There are lands. We found them. All right, well, how much did we get hit for? We get hit for like 7, right? Oh, they have Hurkyl's Recall. Interesting. It doesn't help me, right? All right, well, I'm gonna force it. All right. So my opponent can Needle Time Vault, I assume, which is real bad for me. And we get hit for like 7, which is also real bad for me because my deck is really bad at using Citadel. And they can also just draw any payoff spell and kill us. Should we have kept Opal? I don't know. Maybe. I was like thinking about hitting another Opal, but... Oh, they just hit Vault Key? No. 7. Okay. I mean, if we hit Thought Monitor, we just have to cast it and die, so... Metamorph. Why couldn't they give us a Time Vault? All right, this costs 4 life. What is the best thing I can get? I guess you just cast it and then we'll find out later. Okay. A construct does not save me, right? Especially with an unblockable construct. So I think we just take... None of these cost mana. So I can't even like Smelting Vat them away super profitably. So I think we just have to take this one is the best one. I mean, we're still casting Grim Monolith here. All right. And then we're still going to play this off the top still because we're still going down. All right, we're stuck. So now we're going to go vaulting. If they let us, obviously. They might just not let us. That's so sad. I mean, I guess I should just be thankful they didn't PO kill us, but they could have just drawn mana. We drew mana all the time. We could also get to a Citadel possible kill as well. Wow, they drew Force of Will. This is so sad. It's so sad. This matchup is so bad. Yeah. They drew Saga into mono counter spells, which I guess works pretty well here. We're just doomed, right? We're super doomed. Oh, this matchup, man. This matchup. Not a bad 3-2 league, though. All things considered. I think this matchup is just super, super weird. Thought Monitor off top would not have been pretty. All right, so we can actually see what our VAT would have hit. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, our vat would have hit absolutely zero playable or zero cards that we put in. And then we would have keyed our vat and sacked a mana vault, and that would have given us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which would have given us a 2 Moxen. Yeah, we would still lose. Wow. This was not very pretty. Oh, I guess we would have been able to put Black Lotus in play, but that doesn't really help us. Yeah, that's true. We could have vatted Citadel. That is true. Vatting Citadel on any instance would have been pretty interesting. I don't know if we would have vatted Citadel in the first instance. I probably would have vatted the Monolith first and then vatted Citadel if I saw Vat Citadel. Because I don't think the 1-drop actually gets you very far in life. The one problem with vatting Citadel is there's a chance we win this game with Citadel activation, where if we can hit enough 0-drops off the top of our library, we can put them to 3 and they can die to their Mana Crypt, which I think is a very viable choice of winning this game besides infinite turns. Which is like a pretty compelling reason to keep Citadel in play and just like vat away a key and vat away a vault and then vat away a key. Because we have 1, 2, 3 vat activations. Every vat activation can hit double Moxen, which only gets you 1 more mana, but you could also hit Moxen off of your Citadel from there. There's a couple of ways to go through that. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to do that, but it is what it is. So we went 2-1 versus Mono White. Rough loss here. And then we went 1 win against Oath and 1 loss against Jewel Shops. Like I said, Jewel Shops is the matchup I'm trying to fix with this sideboard plan. But we only have so much room in my sideboard, and I do think the Metamorphs and the Chains are important for other matchups. So it's not like I can just put in like more relevant blue spells. I think the Lattice is important for the Karn lock, and then I know that these looks like a Karn board, but this isn't really a Karn board. This is just all artifact hate that also happens to be a Karn board. I do think that this version of Vat Shops is better than my previous versions, so I do want to shout out Raptor. I think Raptor 56 is the Pauper player who went 5-0 with Shops and initially said that they wanted to play the blue cards and Thought Monitors in their deck. I think that their build was too high roll and not enough, blue mana sources. No, it's not a Raptor list. It's my list, but Raptor had some input in terms of playing blue cards, and I think I've fixed the mana issue of playing blue cards by playing Tome, Seagate Restorations, and basic islands. So I'm probably going to send this back to them and see what they think. I do probably need to explain this stupid Force of Will sideboard pivot thing, but that is what it is. So hopefully now, if you watch this video, you understand what I'm doing with this deck. Maybe you try it out yourself. Let me know how it goes. I always want to make this deck better. I do think there's some places we can trim and cut. Like maybe this 5th key is not exactly ideal. But the idea behind Tome Vat seems strong, and I do think the Citadel Thought Monitor blue cards have made the deck better. If you want to see more vintage on this channel, make sure that you following on Twitch, subscribed on YouTube. Both those are free actions you can take to help me grow the channel. New vintage videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Streams are usually Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern, and Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern for the Vintage Challenge. Next stream is the challenge, and I'll see you then.